you can get some really fucky shit. Also, thanks for actually using those paywall emotes. I know that they're like super dumb and kind of taking the piss, but I really like it when people actually. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of legends today. Just because our friend Vin over on Discord found something that I want to go look at in this world. Also, before I do anything though, shoutouts to this. Our friend Gimper decided to station his military in his museum where the artifacts are kept. And let's just say that they noticed a thief. Hence the red smear across the floor. Actually not a bad idea. Just like train your military alongside of your artifacts. The military would get happy moods from seeing all of the artifacts, and any thieves would just get fucking gibbed immediately. So this is the Community World Oracular Domain that we're playing on. If you would like to download this world, there is a link just below the Go Live post on Discord, or it's pinned in the Dwarf Fortress Talk Discord if you wish to follow along with us. But Vin found another Hell Breach, which I would like to go look up real quick. I don't know how much time I'll actually spend in Legends. Watch me be in here for a while, but... Circledlantern. So underground regions, or rather, it was found in underground regions. We have to go to sites. There you are. Circledlantern was founded in the year 38. Circledlantern was a fortress in the oracular domain. Folded clasps of the brush tongs founded Circledlantern, and the dwarves settled. They constructed the inky chocolate. Sounds like a giant chocolate fountain. Sounds delicious. Paddle of roasting of the brush tongs finished the construction of the Passage of Day, connecting Circledlantern and Wire Sculpted. They built a highway, essentially, the year 38. They were very busy in the year 38, including fighting with a Yeti, the Miseries of Singing, which attacked a dwarf. They struck down the Yeti. Many Yetis attacked them, in fact. Seems kind of like a lot of Yetis, actually. Like, they got into, like, a big old fight with a whole bunch of Yetis. But here, in the year 41, the Horned Monster, Aspad Fate Umbras, the Tenebrous Crypt, attacked the dwarf. The Horned Monster. So something happens here. Horned monsters. This isn't them actually breaking in. Aspad. Wait, is that what it said that I said in the oh god. The wings. Okay, I need to know who Vakar Saint Wires is. The winged monster consort. Yo, Vin, are you lurking right now? And does anybody here have this world? Oh, you have that CC off, gotcha. Horned monster, winged monster. Something fucking happened here. But yeah, in the year 94, they breach into the underworld. They got into a fight with a Cyclops. I don't know what those winged monsters were. Yeah, they're still getting attacked by them. A dwarf authored a book called Moles. They fought with a forgotten beast called Tostra, Seduce Deeps, the Profane Paddles. That happened in the year 50. The beast was defeated but escaped unscathed, I think. Yeah. And they wrote a bunch more books. Circledlantern. Yeah, that winged monster keeps attacking them. I need to look up Vacker Saint Wires. Vacker Saint Wire. Oh, a bunch more. Wrote. Apparently, I don't enunciate enough auto-generated text. The year 84? Because here things start happening. The Tattoon sins defeated. So the tattooed sins attacked. Was that a group of demons or a group of dwarves? I think it might be a group of dwarves. The Ranch of Pulps was looted. Inky Chocolate. That's a hell of a name. Yeah, no, they got attacked before. So looks like. Yeah, in 84, the Tattooed Sins attacked the folded clasps at Circledlantern. The chameleon brute Amak, Scalded Tomb, the Princess of Lords led the attack. The defenders were led by the dwarf Zasset Diamond Heat, because they breached into the underworld in the year 84. I thought this happened in the year 94. It's perplexing. Oh, wait, no, you're right. Okay. So yeah, in the year 84, they breached into the underworld, which was led by Amak, Scalded Tomb, Princess of Lords, who led the attack. The defenders were led by the dwarf Zasset Diamond. Sure. The battle went on for what seems like roughly 10 years. But in the early summer of 84, the bodies of many dwarves were impaled on steel spears. And then they also created a grotesque pillar with many more of the bodies in Circledlantern. Shoutouts to Vin for finding all of this. Have some tea on Discord. Bunch of goblins were brought back from the dead by the chameleon brute Amak. Then the Tattooed Sins held a ceremony in Circledlantern as part of the Bad Celebration. The event featured costumes, incense burning, and images and candles and banners. You know, I'm not gonna lie, these goblins and their events seem pretty metal. Not gonna lie. I'm into it. Seems like a party I would go to. Also, here's a Reddit thread. Dwarf Doomed Hunter. Yeah, I need to look up. Apparently a goblin was murdered by another goblin right before those ceremonies. Doomed Hunter visited. Doomed Hunter, the Dwarf Doomed Hunter. There must be a form of intelligent undead that I actually haven't read about before. Wondering if anybody ever takes Circledlantern back, though. Something that I'm very curious to see. Very, very, very curious to see. Okay, I need to see who that winged monster was. Circledlantern. The name of that winged monster that was harassing them for years upon years. Yeah, the winged monster consort. I think there was a few of them. Labor Sandal, the Sable. Is there another one? Because they fought with the Forgotten Beast. Winged monster consort. It's bizarre. And some named troglodytes fought with them. Became a chemist. A dwarf became a tavern keeper and started working lancers. A mercenary. There's another one. Yeah, there's two. There's Saint Wires. Saint Wires. Died in the year 108. Bakar Saint Wires was a winged monster consort. It was one of the first of its kind. A large skinless humanoid. It has wings and it lopes quickly along the ground. Now you will know why you fear the night. Why were you a consort? How the heck did a night creature become a baron? Like, nothing against night creatures, but like, wow. And he had dwarven lovers. Hey chat, we're pretty lurky. Can I get a round of beers out there? If you're lurking in the chat, just type in the word beer. As it's been like more than 10 minutes since said anything. If anybody has anything they want me to look up, let me know. Or if you're confused and would like explanations, questions. He fought in the cremated clashes in the turquoise mire. The Cyclops post-matched. The Jewels of Breaching attacked. Fought with the Cyclops. You escaped unscathed. I kind of wish that we'd run into... I kind of wish that we would run into Night Creature. Because I want to know how the hell this night creature became Baron. Like, and then he just kind of goes mad. Like, in the year 0, he was born, became a doctor, became a Baron, and then just something happens where it's just like became enemy with everybody, fought with a lot of people. Like, Vacker shot and killed the dwarf Feb. Arrow rampart intake arrows. It's ironic that shot and killed somebody probably with an arrow in a place called Arrows, and he had the last name Arrow. But being a Baron means that he was integrated into society. Even though he's just, like, harassing and fighting. But there is 2 of them. Like, there's literally 2. Yeah, this is all just him fighting. And becoming enemies with everybody. But how the heck were you a Baron? Was struck down by the elf Zepave. Loud roared in the released hills. Killed by an elf eventually. Had 3 total kills. Wasn't very good at killing people. Had a bunch of children? Like... He was a faithful worshipper of Ibrook, the frothy hide of rocks. Also worshipped Titan, the aquamarine mines. Had a dwarf gaunt ghoul, eldest daughter. Had 2 former spouses. Donu, Arkbone, the Tenris Fate. Doesn't say what Donu Markbone was. And had a dwarf spouse. And a bunch of children. That's interesting. Like giving birth to little weird night creature kids. That's a sad life though. Like something went very wrong in this creature's life. Because this creature was very much living in society initially, and then something just went off. Did he get cursed, maybe? Because, like, in year 6 became the Doctor of Natural Ship, became the Baron of the Brush Tongs, and then found a lover, found a second lover, so had a lover for a year, the Dwarf Zhang, and then became a lover with a dwarf named Reg, Temple Rampart, got married, and then fought with the Cyclops. And then after the Cyclops, it's just... Okay, hold on. Here's the thing. In 207, he was abducted from Natural Ship by Donu Markbone, the Tembris Fate. Was imprisoned by Donu Markbone, the Tembris Fate. There you go. Then Danu Markbone, the Tenuous Fate, changed Vakar from a dwarf into a winged monster consort. So he was a Baron that was then transformed by whoever Danu Markbone is into a monster consort. At which point he then became enemy with everybody and started fucking murdering everything. Interesting. Investments are open. Heads up, chat. You wish to invest your tickets. I'm gonna look up Danu Markbone. What was that name? Danu. Well, it definitely wasn't you. You were struck down by a dragon. Didn't live very long. that person's name? There you are. Name of that person? The Trent that kidnapped you? Murkbone, not Markbone. M-U-R-K. There you are. Hey, Hayes. What's up, dude? Greetings indeed. It is good to see you. I hope you're doing well today. We're kind of digging through the community world, discovering some more stuff about this land. Danu Markbone. The tenuous fate was a winged monster. It was one of the first of her kind, a large skinless humanoid, and it has wings, and it leaps quickly along the ground. You will know why you fear the night. Time before time, she began wandering the prim prairie, became an enemy of the curled labor and the brush tongs, and attacked the dwarf Thob Hostleap. Began wandering the plain of yore, became the enemy of the attic of cleaning, abducted Labor Sandal and imprisoned Labor Sandal. And then, yeah. So this is a winged monster, night creature that kidnaps royalty and makes them into monsters, at which point then they go back to where they came from and murder everybody. You're okie dokie? That's good to hear. Hey, that's good to hear. We're just chilling right now. Also, there's a new Today in Dwarf Fortress up about my other fort that I have going. To have just attacked a lot of people. This person didn't live that long. Man, Tatanka just like rocketing up there with the dumb luck. Best of luck, man. Are you just all-inning every time, Tatanka? That's weird. It took a minute to update. Seems to have updated, though. Also, if you want to help out the stream, here's a Reddit thread where you can get the save file that we're playing on as well if you'd like. Undead elephants are rather strong. Well, undead anything is rather strong. Elephants are particularly strong because of their size. Kills this foul beast? That's a good question. Kind of what I'm just kind of like skimming a lot of this to see if there's names that I recognize in here, because we've been futzing around in this world for 7 weeks now, right? This is week 7. We've done several very long Legends sessions in this world. Was killed by the human Onal Luldcloth. The spread field. Old cloth. Huh? Was he human? Ah, there you go. Oh, I see. It wasn't cloth. It was clinch. That was the problem. She was born in 88. She was the eldest daughter of Pabet Ownbreeches. She had a bunch of childhood friends, fought in a bunch of wars, was a ranger but decided to stop being a ranger and then settled in Tealwood, fought in the Siege of Bolts and the Assault of Menestubs. Of course she fought in Menestubs. A whole lot, actually. In the early hundreds, fought in Menestubs a lot. Damn.
I got a bonus at work, and you get a bonus at work.
Thanks, man. Cheers. For the 1,500 bits. It's a lot, Tatanka. Seriously. It's been a slow month, so goes a long way. Oh, I'll always be streaming. I don't see myself ever stopping. Monal continued to fight with various creatures at Menestubs, which is basically a rite of passage in this world. That's the next to Dandor Fortress. Oh, you've been enjoying Risk of Rain for the time you played so far? That game's great. That game's so good. How with Cheetah Woman? Well, that's interesting. Our human that slayed such a foul monster was eventually killed by a giant cheetah. The spread fields. I would imagine that that thing would break the sound barrier. But man! Okay, so your one, like, notable kill was Domu Murkbone. The winged monster in 110. What were you doing before you did that? Ah! Wasn't even her own fault. She was ambushed by Domu Murkbone and killed after fighting at the Siege of Nails and the assault on Menestubs. Was then ambushed by the wing monster Domu Murkbone. 10 bronze? 8? She shot and killed her. Killed him. Yeah, can I get a round of beers? Keep this. Okay, so I need to look up this lion. Exit Cherish. There's a notable lion. Lived for 16 years, born in the year 110. Exit Cherish was a lion, born of unknown parentage. Became the enemy of a bunch of factions. Ambushed. Lulled. Fought with them, the latter escaped unscathed. Only has 2 kills. Okay, killed a ram and a boar. I'm thinking, what if this was like some sort of legendary lion? Thousands of kills? Not. But unfortunately, no. But was an enemy of the Faithful Band and devoured a boar of the Faithful Band. Faithful Band being a military. Also, there's a giant saltwater crocodile. Also didn't have many. I think if there's anything interesting I could look up. No, let's just go down sites and see if we see anything such as the Shaft of Discoveries, which housed a Cyclops, it seems like. Many dwarves and elves tried to fight this Cyclops. In Dwarf Fortress, but with Mountain Blade mechanics? I mean, sure. I don't think it would ever run. Unfortunately, I can't just search by names. Blackened Belch was a vault. The time before time, the lizard devil guarded larvae. Spittle of froth created black blanket belch. The hideous funeral aided the lizard devil, becoming a permanent part of the living world. An all should gaze upon its truly gruesome visage. Ritual took place in Blanket Belch, using buried gristle. Buried gristle was stored in Blanket Belch by the lizard devil, guarded larvae, the spittle of froth. Vaults are fun. Looking for somewhere with a particularly good name. The colorless Ghost League of the Union of Heat founded pleated dances. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think something like Dwarf Fortress could never really, well, at least not with current technology, could ever really work as a fully 3D thing, because that's kind of what they were trying to do with Armok 1, God of Blood. But for reasons that are well documented, it was taking too long. Like, they worked on that thing for years. Never really got anywhere because it was fun. So I would say that I don't think we'll ever see, or maybe not in our lifetime, see a game complicated as this one. Is a vault a pre-gen dungeon that you can crack open? Yes, but you're not going to see, they don't show up on the map, and you're not going to see them outside of adventure mode. You can open them in adventure mode, and then they will be visible on the map in fortress mode, as far as I understand. Back to Circledlantern. There was some other interesting things happening in Circledlantern. Paddle of Roasting. I look up the... Maybe that's an under... I wonder if I can look up the Paddle of Roasting. It might be an underground region. Are there any named underground areas? You can actually go to the underworld areas. Down at the bottom of underground regions and see exactly who breached where and when. In the early summer of 84, the folded clasps of the brushed tongs breached the underworld. And this is the other one. The still mansion of the Fence of Drums breached the underworld at Diverth, which I've made a video out of. Because these are all the cavern layers, right? So you can actually look at them on the map. And it says who's roaming where. Like, if we were to go to an underground area that's close to our fortress. Like right here. This covers where our fort is. Forgotten beast Kest Lootstutter, the Sullen, began wandering the depths of the world. The dwarf Zas Bookstairs made a journey into the depths of the world. One, tamed Jabberers in the depths of the world. Year 157, a dwarf Ethel made a journey into the underground and tamed, as well as Aerith. Sorry, not Ruthers. Zas made a tamed Jabberers, and then Aerith tamed.
Cheese for everyone!
You've arrived with cheese curds. Did you bring enough for the whole class, Gaben of Garrett? Need some for me? Look underneath this area. This is kind of one of the most populated. The Skull of Mines. USAP Swim Depth Skull of... Oh, so it's actually cheese for everyone? That was loud. Was it too loud? I mean, It's cheese for everyone. It's hobos that's the loudest. Crypt cheese is a tier 2 emote because I don't have enough slots. Although speaking of tier 2 emotes, I made a command which is !sellout, so you don't have to pay extra money to have access to that anymore. So even though Crypt Sellout got moved up to tier 2, you can still access it. Because Crypt Sellout literally sold out. Made itself more expensive. But let's go back to that underworld area that was close to underground area. Loot Stutter the Sullen. It was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a great three-eyed hornet. It has a fat, bulging trunk and it squirms and fidgets. Gray exoskeleton is rough and cracked. It's associated with misery and cavern. I'm undecided as to whether or not they're fun to listen to. Apparently, cast settled in Gray Machine. I need to look up Gray Machine. 38 notable kills. Has killed a lot of dwarves. 49 other kills. A lot of bulls and some bulls, horses, turkeys, reindeer, geese. That I can confirm that. Interesting. The contained orbs of the brush tongs found. This is interesting. The dwarf Graveslayer Kib settled. Yeah, I love streaming legends because I find legends fascinating to do and explore, but I never quite believe that it's that entertaining to watch, but people seem to like it and ask for it, so. Graveslayer? Yeah, it must be a, somebody who became a Graveslayer later in their life. War Merchant, hey, hi, what's up? Year 52, the contained orbs of the brushed tongues constructed scuffle. Made sacrificial halls containing copper rubbed. Oh, connecting, I see. The constructed of the sacrificial hogs connecting corrupt copper rubbed Gray Machine. In the late spring of 53, the brush tongues held a foot race. A goblin. Two goblins took part, or a goblin took part and the goblet won. Interesting. Held a procession as part of the celebration of relics. It started at the Tin Scuffle and returned there after following its route. The event featured acrobats, candles, incense burning, a performance of the Festival of Pregnancies. You don't mind listening to it while you do other things? Yeah, it's kind of like storytelling. I don't know how hard it is to follow, though. I try my best. Because you really kind of have to, like, search for stuff, right? I held another ceremony. But that, ooh. Ooh. Year 54, the Horned Monster. Lithame Sable. The Shadows of Dying. Attacked a dwarf. Yeah, this Horned Monster. Lithame Sable seems to fight with them throughout the year 54. And the monster, yeah, continues it, fighting with it. Someone's We have spies entering in the year 55. I think the horned monster just kind of left. Oh, interesting. We've seen you before. The winged monster consort. Backer sprint wires. Bought with some. The winged monster consort. Or Baron who was kidnapped. Horned monsters are scary. I wish that you saw them. Fortress mode. This is another neat name. The Bride of the Moon Monster. Basically, this fortress seems like it was kind of cursed, considering a forgotten beast eventually settles in here. The dwarf Lorbim, dwarf peddler, whose talk formed a false friendship with the dwarf English in order to extract information from Grey Machine. Forgotten beast Cool Spidery Flint devoured a horse that contained orbs in Grey Machines 72. We have a bunch of prophets showing up. There's some sort of religious event happening. More spies are showing up to gather more information. They're coming from another dwarven faction. Yep, even more spies. Nothing super heavily of note, just a lot of dwarves moving jobs and more spies. Tons of information is getting extracted from Grey Machines. And then Forgotten Beast Kest-Lootstuller. So this was the beast that we looked up. Forgotten Beast Kest-Lootstutter, the Sullen, attacked the contained orbs at Grey Machines in the year 87 and mauled a lot of dwarves. Like, just struck down tons of dwarves, crushed ankles, destroyed limbs, broke bones, gored many, many, many dwarves. I wouldn't consider myself a new streamer or new to Dwarf Fortress. I've been streaming Dwarf Fortress for getting close to 2 years now, and I stream DF about 2 days a week, or about 6 days a week. So, new? Definitely not. New to streaming? Absolutely not. I've been streaming for almost 8 years. Yeah, and then the Forgotten Beast moved in. You know, I'm almost always live, except for Fridays. Fridays I take off. Hello, Firedale. Stream. For that much hours? That's not true, because you've watched me play Risk of Rain before. But if you go to that YouTube channel, and I export all my DF streams to there, as well as other various DF-related things. I make lore videos, news videos. Yeah, I mean, you might have been missing me about that much, yeah. But, yeah, no, I stream DF a lot. A lot. To the point where it's kind of a problem. But yeah, no, this poor fort, man. Grey Machines. Belstakud. Yeah, I think a lot of people found my stream recently because I actually had Tarn Adams on my stream and interviewed him. The VOD did quite well, and quite a lot of people tuned in that day. So a lot of people have kind of found me recently. No, I've been streaming full time since 2016. But I'm glad that you finally managed to land on my channel. Welcome. So fucking 3,000 hours, man. That's so much time. I know it's Spun Machine. I wish that name was Spud Machine. And you're the only one live at the moment? Really? Sayset's not live? There was somebody else live earlier. It's a rare day where I'm not the #1 Dwarf Fortress stream. He does. Like, he's genuinely incredibly humble, which is nice. There's a lot of developers that are they have this wild sense of self-importance. Yeah, the Say Said hasn't been live on and off recently. It's weird. Like, what happened to Say Said? But I'm gonna link a video about this particular world. This particular world is a community world. So essentially, you can download this save on off my Discord or off the Reddit thread or have it. But I'm gonna link a video which is a little lore video about this world, which I'm pretty proud of. About a skunk monster. I'm doing a little bit of legends, and then we'll jump into the fort that we have going on this world. What else did I want to look up? Had a few other things from Discord that I wanted to poke at. You know what I wanted to look up? Name of the other. Because this is the longest history of any city in the world, well, fort. And it's constantly under attack and constantly being defended. Because it's always being defended by Illustrious Beauty, and there was another military group that I wanted to. But yeah, no, one of the hardest things about streaming Dwarf Fortress is telling people who like Dwarf Fortress that you exist, because unfortunately, there really isn't a lot of people who play a lot of Dwarf Fortress don't actually go on the forum or look at Reddit. So it's actually and aren't on social media. So it's actually like really difficult unless someone just happens to look, which kind of is how a lot of people have found this stream. Really difficult to actually find people. To tell them that, hey, I stream. Which is why I'm sitting here and just kind of crossing my fingers about the Steam version and audience. Because I know that it exists. It's still here. Illustrious Beauty was hired as scouts for the other group. I mean, I guess I could go dig into the Illustrious Beauty again. Told you about this stream in a dream, and then we made a tile set that was nothing but Nicolas Cage's face. Human Mummy Tykes Skulls Fair. That's a good name. Tykes Skulls Fair was a human born in the year 46, the youngest daughter of Utag Borgs. Born in 53, had a relatively normal life. Got married to someone who would become a sunless slayer. Became the lady of the Band of Gulfs. Ruled from the east hand of the Band of Gulfs in Glowslid. Began accepting bribes for leniency as the Lord of the Band of Gulfs. Fought in the ignited assaults in the offense of Clout Ropes. Fought in the eviscerated assaults in the assault against Rotted. And then eventually stopped ruling from the east settled in spirit belts, became a lawgiver of the Union of Heat, ruled from the tower prison of the Union of Heat in spirit belts, made a journey to the oceanic desert, and tamed giant lizard geckos. I'm assuming that this person dies of old age at some point to become mummy. Attacked the disloyal magicians at Menestubs. Fought at Menestubs for several years from looks of things. Yeah, they do. It's like spoilers, though. Like, you know how their story ends when you read their name, because it reads their name based off of what their name becomes, not what they started off as. Like, in another world that we were reading legends about the other day, we learned that there was a monster that was killed and then possessed. So it was a forgotten beast that was killed. And you can have undead forgotten beasts, right? You can have, like, forgotten beast zombie, right? As necromancer resurrects forgotten beasts and do forgotten beast things. But this one, stated specifically, was possessed by name. So necromancer didn't resurrect forgotten beast. Necromancer took weird ancient power, which was worshipped as a god, and put it into the body of that forgotten beast, which I've never seen before. Which is kind of absolutely wild. And I see that sort of stuff kind of a lot. Kind of a lot. It always freaks me out a bit. Whenever I see new shit, it's, man, that's something I've never seen before. Holy shit. At what point do you die? Skull's fair. You got divorced in the year 117. Continuing to just fight at Menestubs, which is pretty normal for this world. We'll never forget about one of the first times I read Legends after Villains Part 1 update dropped. Spent like 8 hours in Legends mode. I found this necromancer lady that was a queen, a dwarven civ, that kept marrying various people of all kinds, divorcing them, murdering them, and resurrecting them as a zombie. You know, there's polygamy in DF now, but man, in some cases she wouldn't even divorce them. She had like 12 lovers or something that were living when I hit the end of the history. This is a hell of a warrior, Pikes. The Onslaught of Tornadoes. A good name for a fight. In the year 153, Tykes became the commander of the Crystals of Tiredness. Human sanctified slayer, Vine Plum, was brought back from the dead. Oh shit. What point did you become a mummy? I figured there would be like a year jump there. I didn't see one. Made a journey to the Violent Teeth. Named Bobcats and the Violent Teeth. That's 40 to 149 was where they died? I missed it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, in the year 139, dies of old age. Was entombed in the Flaxen Grave. 153, Tykes was disturbed by Akok. Oh, I'm sure that those captions is going to butcher that. Helmed matches as the mummy in Stekdent. Became the commander, yeah, and at that point became the commander of the Crystals of Tiredness and just went on a rampage. Resurrected a bunch of dwarves. Whole lot of dwarves. Built an undead army, basically. Settled in Leadtut. Still alive to this day, probably. Actually hasn't killed anything. That's interesting. I find that hard to believe. All of the wars you fought in didn't kill anything. I want to look up the dwarf that rezzed him. Or that fathered him out of eternal rest. Akok. A-C-O-C. ACC, okay. Helm the matches. Can probably just look up Helm the match. Born in 102, died in 176. Akok Helmed Matches was a human. Born in 102. He was the fourth eldest son of Turdra Vine and Yushiv River Gifted. In the year 114, had a lover, Gustum, Webton. They broke up. Quite a long time later, they were together from 114 to 133. Found another lover 2 years later. Got married, settled in Spirit Belts, became a trooper in Spirit Belts, and fought in a lot of sieges in Menestubs. Like, once again, just normal pattern here. Fights in Menestubs. Divorced in 147, fought in 2 more battles, and then 148 found a new lover and began wandering the wilds, I assume with said lover. Continued wandering the wilds and then went back to fighting. I guess kind of went on a little vacation. The zombies do the killing. Yeah, but that person fought in many, many battles before they started rezzing all the zombies. Party. So that is actually kind of weird. Because this person was not struck down, even though... Oh, interesting. There it is, from the year 153. In the late autumn of 153, Akok and others made a journey to Staked Dent. There you go. Not Staked Ent. Staked Dent. Thoughts on the screw was recovered by Akok from the Flaxen Grave, but Akok, in doing so, disturbed the Flaxen Grave. The human money Tyke's Skull's Fair was disturbed from eternal rest by Akok as a mummy in Stakdes. Fought in the fierce onslaught at fought in 2 more fights in Menestubs, broke up with their lover, got married again, settled in Parched Scrapes, got divorced, and had 1 more lover and died 6 years later of old. Also killed nobody. The interesting thing about Menestubs is, considering how many battles have actually taken place there, the casualty count is very, very low. Like, incredibly low. Considering the the number of actual fights that... Yes, the number of dead is in the thousands. Considering the number of battles. Actually kind of incredible how few have died. And that's just kind of a going trend with it. Yeah, if you disturb graves that can cause mummies to arise, it's sort of like how you can become cursed by what's the word I'm looking for here? By dismantling a temple. If you damage a temple in the form of like knocking over a statue, defiling a grave, killing somebody in the temple, that can curse you, right? The god can curse you for doing it. I've had that happen a couple of times, and it happens in Legends all the time. That's how you have vampires, certain types of night creatures, and were creatures. They get cursed by gods for defiling temples or monasteries. If you defile a tomb, it can raise a mummy, which I don't think is possible to do in Legends mode. I know you can search tombs, but I've never actually had problems searching tombs. And I've never actually seen a mummy outside of adventure mode, so. Outside of adventure mode or Legends mode, specifically. What would that be then? Flaxen Steppes, that's a region. Weird. Kind of figured that I could look that up, but I guess not. Ah, there you go. Structures. Flaxen Grave was a tomb in Stackdent. Constructed, the Union of Heat constructed it. Human Money Tykes was entombed there. Thoughts on the Screw, which is the only book recovered. Whole number of books. And then, yeah, the year 153, Thoughts on the Screw was recovered by the Human Akok. Human Akok disturbed the mummy. And then after that, books started getting stolen from it because the mummy's no longer there. You'd only seen resurrected intelligent undead, never saw a spontaneous one. I mean, mummies have existed for a while. Let's see what was so valuable that it was worth disturbing this mummy. Thoughts on the Screw. Thoughts on the Screw was a legendary Peridot-bound codex. Consists of a 37-page manual entitled Thoughts on the Screw, authored by Thomo Snacked Thunders. It concerns the reasons why screws are effective. The writing is stunningly self-indulgent, and overall the prose is not awful and not very good either. Thoughts on the Screw was created but in Glode's Lid by the human Thomo Snacked Thunder. Thoughts on the Screw was stored in the east of Glodeslid. Was stored in the Dead Frame Tombs. Was recovered by the human Ramstom Controlled Lips from the Dead Frame Tombs in Shadow Traps. It was then offered to the Union of Heat by that human. Thoughts on the Screw was then stored in the Tower Prism in Spirit Belts, and then the Thoughts on the Screw was stored in the Flaxen Grave, was later recovered by the human Akok, and stored in the Flowery Tower of Machines in Parchscraped. You know, I understand now why you went for that book in particular. Obviously, the Flowery Tower of Machines must be some kind of research facility for researching machinery and mechanics. Thus, obviously, you would go after a book about screws and why they are effective and efficient. Audio, what up? That's good to hear that you're alive. Be weird if someone else was using your command on my stream if you weren't alive. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. You're doing alright out there. 1 full week of testing left. Best of luck. And then you just go and chill. And the big go day where you press the go button and everything breaks, right? Thoughts on the elf? It's a legendary calcite-bound codex. The written portion consists of a 28-page essay entitled Thoughts on the Elf, authored by Lima Apestale. It concerns the apprenticeship of the elf Emil Blaze Castles under the elf Lima Apestale, the early winter of 83. The writing is fairly cheerful. Prose is amateurish at best. I was really hoping that it would say it's like, set them on fire. My thoughts of elf. On-site support. So you have a week of 3:30 a.m. to noon. Could do worse than 3:30 a.m. to noon. Is 3:30 a.m. till noon, like, it's not really a night shift. It's just a stupid early shift. So you can like wake up, go to work, go home at noon, go to bed at like 6 p.m. Not too bad. I mean, you could do a lot worse. Need to take a real quick toilet break, and then we're gonna keep poking legends. Kirby. I stood up and now the cat thinks I'm gonna feed him. Damn it. For those of you who didn't know, I'm taking care of my parents' cat again. He's a lovely little twit. Okay, I think other things that I could... Because, like... I'd look at the different... Read some history about the region that we've settled in. Actually, a lot of these tools... Heading out. We'll see you later, animal. Time yet. Food time's in about 40 minutes. Well, I might just give... I might need to give him food. Chat, is there anything specific you guys would like me to look? Fled into the abated dune. What are they fleeing into? Human necromancer fled into the abated dune. Why they're fleeing? The human fury still clustered. You fleeing from? Fury Still Clustered was a human born in the year 166. youngest daughter of Isaac. Pleated. Geit. Shack Cacti. That's a good name. Led into the abated doom. Why are they fleeing? Wonder if it's like some sort of religious persecution. Born in 166 and at the year of 1. Maybe we should look up this person's parents. But then, you know, eventually became a military person or mercenary. This is incredible, actually. This human was born in the year 166, and by 172, no, by 160, fucking child soldiers here. Was born in 166, 167. You know, actually, I wonder. At the age of 1, this person was fighting. But here's the question. Is this person fighting as a shield that their mother's using? Probably running from some weird fort that only accepts of their religion and kicks them out to die. This is a human, not a dwarf. Also, this was like 150 years before that. So who knows? Weird outcome, right? Very weird outcome. But yeah, that would be strange, right? Investments are open. But I just want to look up this person's parents. Go with Shack Cacti. Died in 192. The human born, he was the second eldest son. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Immediately found lovers and immediately broke up. Bunch of lovers, actually. Finally married. Isaac Fleet Tame. Fought in the crazy siege in B-Rain. That's a good name. Cemented a bond of friendship amidst the horror of combat. Settled in Wipe Tattoo. Found another lover. Continued to fight in sieges on Menace Dubs. Broke up with that lover. Yeah, never fled. Interesting. Can you hear the cat meowing? Because right under my chair. Yeah, no real reason as to why they ran. I mean, I would run too if I was... Yeah, also, again, no kills. I don't have a cat, no. I'm taking care of a cat. This is my parents' cat. My childhood kitty. Does not want to be picked up. He wants me to feed him. So I'm going to go feed him. I will be right back. This cat is incredibly high maintenance, and by high maintenance, I mean he only eats one type of meat, fresh and raw. Otherwise, he'll just puke it up. Race crown. Let's look at this silver battle axe. The Treaty of Decay was a legendary silver battle axe. All craftsmanship was of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of pear-cut green zircons, and this object menaces with spikes of impala bone. On the item is an image of 2 were-rabbits in pomegranate wood. Silver mace. Also craftsmanship was of the highest quality. It was decorated with gazelle hoof and encircled with bands of giant Angolian bone. This object menaces with spikes of red torn. It was created in Crypt Combine by the dwarf Stodier. Die scale. Yeah, you have to give him gentle cuddles. That's all he can handle. The Defender of Lyrics was a legendary bronze warhammer. This was a bronze warhammer. All craftsmanship was of the highest quality. It was, this object was adorned with hanging rings of sulfurite and menaces with spikes of giant bone. Legendary bronze spear, source. It was a legendary bronze spear. All craftsmanship was of the highest quality. It was decorated with sheep hoof, and this object menaced with spikes of cave spider silk. On the item was an image of emerald cut gem in giant rat bone. On the item was an image of a firefly in yak bone. It had 2 kills on 2 dwarves, and it was used by Breach Sizen, the Just Sweetness, the Giantess. Or I lose an arm. Yeah. He has a very weak stomach. Got tangled up in a cable. Yeah, no, he's 19 years old, so he's a delicate kitty. So I can't really pick him up. He'd much prefer to just walk in circles around my legs and nuzzle me. Although last night he was nuzzling the side of my head. Just nuzzling, and then he bit my ear. What's wrong with you, you dumb cat? A bronze short sword, the Hail of Pride. This is a bronze short sword. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of gray langur bone, and the object menaces with spikes of yellow and giant bat bone. On the item is an image of a mandrill in crystal glass. Can other creatures have strange moods and make artifacts? I've ever seen that before. I'm sure they can. Legendary steel spear. Steel spear. Just a named spear. Let's look at the confusing cave, Arami Sock. It is sized for humans and encrusted with oval gold opal cabochons and made from Rami cloth. This object is adorned with hanging rings of jet and menaces with spikes of lead. That's not a comfortable sounding cloth sock. Like, that isn't even remotely comfortable. That sounds excruciatingly painful to walk around in. Looking for cool sounding items or really silly sounding items. Like this steel short sword is a legendary steel short sword. All craftsmanship was of the highest quality. It was made by the dwarf Ural Homageletter. The item was an image of Erdem Bronzeboard, the dwarf and dwarves in giant bone. Erdem Bronzeboard is surrounded by the dwarves, and the artwork relates to the appointment of the dwarf Erdem Bronzeboard, position of chief medical dwarf of the Indigo Plank in 51. Can you be a dwarf? We're in Legends right now, so I can't actually name a dwarf. Can be after we're out of Legends. How's things, Eli? It's been a while. Unslotted the Frill of Worn. You'll pick up DF again. Are you just taking a break from DF, or? Upper crossbow, the Bronze Sisters. was just encrusted with gems. Nothing super interesting. Yeah, there's been 2 big wins today. I guess audio now, but before audio, what's it called? Tatanka won like 13,000 all in. Moonred, a white opal statue of Iferi mint growls. This is a white opal statue of Inferi mint growls. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It's a masterfully designed image of Iferi mint growls, the elf in white opal. It is encrusted with pear-cut rose quartzites and studded with silver, and encircled with bands of table-cut blue garnets and helmet snake bone. So why would a dwarf make a statue of mint growl? Who was mint growls, and why did they deserve such a legendary statue? And why is this cat biting my leg? I am not dinner. So you enjoying 1.2 RimWorld? I haven't looked at it at all. Kind of out of interest. Harry Mint Growls was an elf born in 80. He was the youngest son of Taxed Mother and Dipane Scalded Plain. Became childhood friends with I. A bunch of childhood friends. Okay. Didn't live for very long. Was born in the year 80 and died in the year 110, struck down by the Cyclops. That's a... Does anybody else see what I see that I think is funny? A fairy settled in Nuts Heaven. Nuts Heaven. Place called Nuts Heaven. Probably elf. But man, what else can I find in artifacts? A lot of them sound interesting. Dung's depths, the knotty hole, ever ring. Okay, first off, it's a dwarf bone cage, so it's going to be a dark one. But look at the name of that. The Terrible Baldness. It's a curse that I would not have put on anybody. The Terrible Baldness was a legendary dwarf bone cage. All craftsmanship was of the highest quality. This object is adorned with hanging rings of turquoise and menaces with spikes of yak horn. The item is an image of It Begins with Valves, a Gabbro Codex. The Terrible Baldness was created in Rock Skinny by the dwarf Godin Furnace Marks. Yeah, exactly. It's a cage for those strange, beardless dwarves. Elbows of Finding. I'm just looking for good name. Also, how you doing, Bamber? Fortune Rules. It's a red tourmaline amulet. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of Drathla bone. This object menaces with spikes of... On the item is an image of cucumber vine. Conglomerate. Crow of Steam, Crypt of Thirsts. Fungus of Plates. Steamed Wicked, the Corrupted Wanderer. This is a dwarf bone helm. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of water buffalo hoof. The corrupt wanderer was created in Paged Belt. Dwarf Aloth Buklald was offered to the dwarf Unib, the fortress of amazement, by the dwarf Aloth Buklald. I love all of those. The Somber Ink. It's also a good name. Anything made of adamantine? Not that I've seen so far. This is a copper breastplate. Craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of rectangular kimberlite cabochon. Skim for some... Because I can't just type in Ada and... I can't search by type. I can only search by name. Means I literally just have to like scroll through. There's an Adarite or an Andorite. Steel battle axe. Craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It menaces with spikes of sheep bones. Very simple, but... Did you win? A dwarf skull totem. The gravel crystal was a legendary dwarf skull totem. Received its name in the folded oils elf Ura Orkogale in order to sanctify the dwarf Athil Lashskins by preserving part of the body. Oh, good shit. What difficulty? I'm undecided. I might play some Risk of Rain tonight. That or play it with friends later tonight. Off stream on Monsoon. Good shit. I find obliterating is way harder now that the other levels are pushed in there as well. Way harder than it used to be. Ooh. That's not good. I don't think I've ever actually had a crash with Risk of Rain. Maybe is kind of impressive in its own way. Well, actually, that's not true. I had some crashes early on. Like the very first version, once you got like an hour into a run, I had a few crashes that were kind of off-putting, but the problem didn't seem to stick around for particularly long, so that's good. Hair faded. This is a dwarf bone toy hammer. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. This object menaces with spikes of silver. Dark. All right. It's lunchtime for me. It's 12:30. I'm gonna go grab my lunch real quick, and then we're gonna get into the fort. Plenty of interesting artifacts in this one. Once again, if you would like to dig into the world, more about this. Here's a Reddit thread. The first comment in the thread, or my comment in the Reddit, as a download this world to poke through legends and help us. Please post anything interesting you find up on the Discord.